Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Susie, the owner and creator here. Here on YouTube, I love to show you guys how I go thrift store shopping and transform the items to sell in my booth and online. And I show you guys all the ins and outs of being a small business owner. Today's video is a thrift store makeover video. So let's go ahead and get started with project number one. So I love vintage books and I have them all over the house. And when I was taking my fall decor down, I was like, it's just a shame that I have these books and I can't use them during spring and summer. So I decided to temporarily do something with these books so that I could keep them displayed throughout this season and then take them back down to the beautiful fall colors for fall. So I've simply got a new drop cloth and cut it down to size, and I'm going to hot glue a cover for this book. I'm trying not to hot glue onto the book very much. I thought about just using some tape, but I've had terrible luck with tape tearing the insides of a book. So basically what I'm trying to do is just hot glue the cloth to the cloth. See how I made a little pocket there? And I'm going to continue. This is the second book. The first one was kind of a learning. This one's, I learned a little bit too. And by the third one, I had it down pat. So I'm just going to hot glue these drop cloth covers onto these fall colored books. For the excess cloth around the binding, there is a little space between the book pages and the binding, and I just stuffed the extra fabric in there and got these books covered. Okay, so at this point, they're gorgeous. You could leave them just like they are if that's the decor style that you like. Y'all know I'm a little extra, so I'm going to do another step. There's a lot of steps you could do at this point, but I am going to take a thrifted doily, and I am just going to add it in with a couple of the books in the corners, just to give them a little extra detail and a little bit more cottage vibes. So I'm just going to cut the doily down and then hot glue in a couple of spots. All this is going to be easily removed just by heating up the hot glue when I'm ready to take these back down to those burnt orange and colors for fall. I love how these turned out. I hope that you guys have enjoyed them too, and this video inspires you to take something that you already have and turn it into something that you can use for a different season. project number 2 is a super simple one, and it was inspired by Julie at Julie's Designs and Signs. I'm sure most of you are already watching her, but if you're not, you must go check it out. She has some amazing ideas. So I thrifted these baby shoes. They're in perfect condition, because what baby shoes are not, since babies don't actually walk on their shoes. They were a little too new looking, so I'm going to simply take some of the Fusion aging wax and rub all over them, making sure to get it in the stitching and everything. And I'm going to let them sit for a few minutes, and then I'm going to come back with a dry cloth and just wipe back all the excess. And now these shoes look old and aged, and they are perfect. And as Julie says, if it's Christmas time, if it has a hole in it, it gets a tree. If it's spring and it has a hole in it, it gets eggs and a bird nest. So you can style these with floral. I put some succulents in them, and then also I made a little bird nest to stick in them. You can hang them. They are just the cutest decor to sit in with all your vignettes. Okay, so project number 3 is going to be a little bit more detailed. We've done some easy things, and now we're going to do a little detail. So I've had this little clock in my stash for quite a while, and the first of the year, we're all trying to clean out our stashes, so I thought I'm going to go ahead and make this over. I did not really like the idea of this being a clock, and I always had the vision of making a little bird nest out of it. So that's what I'm going to do. I just removed the clock pieces, and I'll save them. I might have something I can turn into a clock later on, because it does work. So I am going to paint this with, I started out with Chateau, but it was the bottom of the barrel. So I'm going to switch colors later. That is a Fusion paint, and I do carry the Fusion paints on my website, susieonthefarm.com, if you're interested in the all-in-one paint. So I'm going to take the Laurel mold here, and I really wanted to give a lot of extra detail on this clock / birdhouse. First of all, I dusted the laurel wreath there that I was going to use with some cornstarch, and now I'm going to use some air dry clay. I'm just going to work it into the mold, and these IOD molds are very easy to use. They have this little micro rim, so you just rub your finger across it and it cleans up the edges perfectly. So I just like to rub and clean up the edges until I get my mold flat on the side, and then use gravity to pull it out. And I'm going to go ahead and do both sides of this little laurel wreath. I'm also going to do just the little oval inside frame there from this frames mold the same way, and I'm going to use it inside of the bird nest. If you need any of the IOD products that I'm using in today's video or any of my videos, those are also available on my website. I try to ship within 1 to 2 days, so you'll get them pretty quickly. And I am just going to now use a combination of tight bond glue with a little dot or two of hot glue to hold it in place immediately to glue these molds down. I'm going to put the frame in the inside center, and then we're going to end up putting a bird on that frame as well. And then for the laurels, I'm going to put them on the outside. I did have to cut the laurels down just a tad to make them fit just right, but it looks like they were made to go on this project. Then once I have all my molds glued down, while they are still wet, I'm going to go ahead and do a second coat of paint. With the Fusion paint, it has a built-in sealer, so it's like that first coat of paint blocks any bleed through. So bleed through is very rare when you are using the Fusion all-in-one paints. And I do like to paint my molds when they are slightly wet, and that just reduces the amount of cracking that can happen during the drying process. It slows down the drying process just enough where they don't crack. So, like I said, I used the very last of the Chateau. So now I have switched over to cobblestone. This is the first time I am using the cobblestone. And in the bottle, it looks to be super similar to Chateau, but it does have more of a gray undertone. And at first, I did not like the gray undertone, but once I got the whole thing painted, I did like it, but I did want to deepen it up. So after I distressed the entire box really good, I'm going to come back again with the Fusion Aging Wax, and I'm going to heavily go over those molds, being sure to take my little soft bristle brush and getting it down into all those details. And then I'm going to take a dry paper towel and just wipe the top layer back, and you see how it stays in there and it looks like it's just aged and older, and gives it that really rich character look that I was going for. So I went ahead and waxed the entire piece. I'm doing it in sections at a time, making sure to get that wax down into all those details, and then wiping back the high areas. So this is just a resin mold from the Birdsong mold I already had made up. I'm going to use the Fusion French eggshell and just give this little bird a couple coats of the paint, and then to make him blend in with the old of our project, I'm going to take some of the, after it's dry, I'm going to use some of the aging wax just to bring out all those details on this beautiful little bird, and we're going to hot glue him directly onto the frame in the center of the clock. And then finally, to complete the project, I made a little bird nest out of some Spanish moss, and also used some floral to put in the drawer, but that's just an extra step. You don't have to. And look how gorgeous this little birdhouse nest clock project came out. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Be sure to check this out. This may be on my website if you're interested. And finally, for project number 4, y'all know I am drowning in chickens and roosters and hens and all of the stuff, so I'm going to have to start painting a set of them in each video. Now, this is not a pair, but they were in size. They were comparable in size, so I'm going to make them a pair. I am going to, again, use the Fusion French eggshell. This is an all-in-one paint with a built-in sealer. It's going to go directly over this painted ceramic and cover it beautifully. Now, with his little tail, it was quite a chore to get all the paint into all those extra details, but my son was reading aloud to me, and we just enjoyed the time, and I just painted away. I even had to take a little detail brush to be sure to get into all those details. So I got the rooster all painted up, and while he was drying, I gave 2 coats of paint to the hen, and then once they're both dry, we're going to come back with the next step. You know, I did think they were really pretty like this, but to have all that feather detail and not accentuate it some way is just not something that I can do. So, you know, we're going to take some of the aging wax. That seems to be a theme in today's project. And we're just going to go over both the rooster and the hen. The hen did all right. It did bring out her feather details, but when I put it on that rooster, oh my gosh, y'all, it was so beautiful. And I always get kind of nervous whenever I put a dark wax over something I've just spent all this time painting, and it's absolutely beautiful painted, and it always stresses me out. But I took a little chip brush, and first I was just going over it, but then I started really dabbing so I could be sure to get that wax all in there. And the magic always happens when you wipe it back. It looks so good. Look at this rooster. So yeah, that turned out really good. And now I have 2 of my mini roosters and hens and ceramics that I need to be painting. These guys are going to sell so quick, I can already tell. And I love the aging wax over the Fusion French eggshell. And I hope you guys do too. So that is all the projects that I have for you today. I hope that y'all have enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out the website if you need any of the paint or products that you see me using. And I appreciate you guys watching my channel so much. And I can't wait to see you again next Wednesday.